Even old New York was once New Amsterdam. Why'd they change it, I can't say. People just liked it better that way. Next up on the itinerary, we have the Fish Titan 64 Q&A Awkward College Kid Edition. Originally aired on March 23rd, 2017.
Hello everybody, and welcome to the latest Fish Titan 64 Q&A. Let's just get into this shit.
Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about having to deal with the other people that you're living with being loud.
Drew Richmond asks, what was your biggest inspiration for YTP? At one point when I was a kid, I'd found the big YouTube poop memes of 2008, the Volva commercials, the CDI cutscenes, This is Sparta scene from 300, and I think I basically just wanted attention because all I was doing was leaving these stupid fucking comments on every video I saw, so I basically just took all those memes
and put them in someone's ass.
Put them into the same video with like just enough editing to like barely pass as like someone's first YTP.
What are you doing with your hands, Izzy? Yep, this is me, mixing up all the memes. Here I go.
And then when I realized how shitty my video really was, I kind of, disposed of it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that video doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately. But still got the Planet Song video.
Then, a little while later, I remember one day I was sitting upstairs in my room, and my dad and then stepmom were downstairs talking with some other business person, and I was just digging around on my computer. I was kind of bored, and I randomly had Vegas 6 open, I think I was using at the time, and I randomly had this clip of the Planet Song.
All these different versions of Vegas that I've gone through.
And I decided, hey, I'm just going to mess around with this clip in Sony Vegas and see what comes of it. I'm not sure if I initially called it a YTP when I first created it, but then I discovered Volatile Projects, who I remember was one of the few black YTPers at the time. I figured, hey, there's a whole community of people who make videos like the one that I basically just made, so I figured I would show it to him. He loved it, and it just kind of went from there.
Yeah, as soon as I discovered that YTP was still going strong, I guess I was just like, oh yeah, I totally meant to do that.
I think my biggest inspiration for continuing to make YTPs was seeing other people's videos and just how far they took it. Steven asks, do you still like having bagels in your socks? It's been a while since the last time I've had a bagel in my sock, but yeah, it's still a favorite pastime of mine.
Eating sock bagels as a pastime activity.
Console asks, what type of music do you like? My taste in music has been kind of a mixed bag. I'll usually listen to at least one or two bands or artists from most genres. Back in middle school, I didn't really listen to anything except dubstep, so I didn't really start trying to form a musical identity until I was, I think, in high school. Some of my major favorites include Bad Religion, Run the Jewels.
Hey, I'm gonna get this blacked out soon, because Killer Mike has some very own opinions.
Samus with 2 M's. Churches, Neutral Milk Hotel.
I really don't know how I didn't realize sooner that I was an egg when I started listening to fucking Churches. Me, a girl? I don't know anything about that. I'm just a moody, sensitive, soft boy.
Rough Magic, T-Sol, Kendrick Lamar, MF Doom / Victor Vaughn. There's also a lot of artists I like, just a few songs or particular albums from, like Joy Division, Johnny Cash, A$AP Rock. The Impossible Kid is my favorite, though I do like a few songs from Skeleton and basically everything he did in between those two. Hey, I'm shooting in the hallway now because my fucking roommate had to come in here and fuck the whole game up.
You could have just shot in the hallway in the first place, but okay. Sharing a space with other people just fucking sucks.
I loved Beyonce's Lemonade album from last year, and A Tribe Called Quest's album from last year as well. A little bit of Mountain Goats, Nick Cave.
Oh, the days before I found out about that one Nick Cave line.
Pusha T's Darkest Before Dawn album. Some artists I just got into include Red Hot Chili Peppers, Chance the Rapper, and Dirty Projectors.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure those musical phases did not last for more than a few months.
Are there any particular YTP sources that you always wanted to use but never had the chance to do so for whatever reason? I remember in Blues Black Books, I wanted to expand upon the Black Books segment, but I don't remember if my...
Fuck Graham Linehan anyway. He was the guy who did Black Books, right? Yup, writer's Graham Linehan. Fuck that guy!
My interest in the project was particularly high during that time. And I also used the excuse of, high school and other life things. Fucking
I'm pretty sure I was literally a senior at the time, so, I was about to fucking graduate.
But I do want to see if I can maybe poop more sitcoms like that, British or American sitcoms.
I have pooped Fresh Prince by this point, so...
Use the IT crowd at some point. I don't know. Bake Cake 34 asks any interesting hobbies you would like to share with us. I've been running a photography blog for a couple years and taking photos for a year or so longer than that.
I'm pretty sure that photography blog does not exist anymore. It died along with my main Tumblr account.
And I have been creating mashups for a while as well, which used to have a SoundCloud account for that, and then their fucking content ID system got too strict, I guess.
It did. I do still actually make mashups now from time to time. Just, not quite as often as I used to, but if I get an idea for a really fucking cursed thing, just need to find somewhere to actually upload them other than, my Google Drive.
Young J97 asks favorite song of 2017 so far. Probably Chief Don't Run by Jadena from his debut album. I guess you could say his flow is kind of basic, but I think it's purposefully the way it is to match the beat and the melody of the song.
Do love that.
Which, by the way, that fucking melody.
It sounds really good at the end with the fucking strings just by themselves. And I love how the hook is basically just a bunch of vocables that is they kind of sound like words, but they're not very discernible, and it sounds like a vocoder singing them.
Can you tell I'm a fucking nerd for music?
The song does have some auto-tuned African chanting at the very beginning of the song, which I can't usually stand auto-tune in rap except for T-Pain and the big hit singles from 808s and Heartbreaks. But
fucking Kanye.
Number 2, favorite boop you've made. I don't know. I have made a lot of videos, some of them better than others, but I think some of my favorites are Rap Critic wraps up his black nipples.
The fact that that's the clip from it that I used. I'm pretty sure those are some trans feminine titties, actually, so...
Michael's brain implodes due to lack of creativity and fucking clues, man. And also Unfunny Pontano, the thing I did for EYTPS's Needle Drop collab. That was good. Number 3, what other content do you enjoy on YouTube? I like Brad Jones's stuff as the cinema.
Nope.
Dom's Sketchcast and the Double D
I haven't checked out him
podcast.
in a while.
Chris Stuckman.
Yes.
Rap Critic.
He was cool until it started getting really obvious that he was trying to game the algorithm for YouTube. With how compact his videos have been feeling lately, he didn't give his criticisms enough chrism. He didn't really give his criticisms a lot of room to breathe, so the video would just blow by you, and I'm just okay.
And Todd in the Shadows, yes. And I guess occasionally I'll watch a full album video or something, but...
Haven't listened to What the Fuck Is Wrong With You in a while.
Are you a real villain?
Maybe.
Yeah, this white child with bad forehead eczema, definitely a villain. And my fucking cute button nose, I have a buzz cut in this video, but I don't think I would have even made a convincing skinhead, honestly.
Then you take it out, you let it dry.
And then when you've actually developed the photos, they come out with these blobby, psychedelic washes of color over some of the photographs. And I saw that, and I thought to myself, that is fucking cool, how these people are doing special effects with film photography without having to do it in post-production. I want to do that. And then the longer I shot,
Yeah, would you stop picking at your skin, you'll probably be better off for it.
35mm film, I started to grow more of an appreciation of the aesthetic that it carries on its own. Same thing with Polaroid films. I have shot...
Oh, you see? One singular person in all of my photos. That's... Put my ass on a plane to LA, I'm going to LA Arts College or whatever. Actually, no, don't take me back to LA. I need to stay away from my mother.
I guess I might like to shoot more people at some point. I don't know, maybe if I ever get a girlfriend and she becomes my muse or whatever.
Hey, 1 out of 2 ain't bad. I have a different girlfriend now than I did in my last Q&A video, but I'd have to ask her about the muse part.
Esoteric bullshit. That's where I've been at.
Yes, thank you, Izzy. At least I had some self-awareness to how freaking pretentious I could be.
I also just love trying different techniques with 35mm film. I recently bought a piece of diffractive tape from another Nooch on Store Envy, which I put over the lens, and it comes out with these psychedelic little lights in the photo. I shot a roll with that recently, and then I want to do another roll with that where I soup it. And then I also ordered another roll of purple Lomachrome film off of Amazon, and I want to soup that.
Me ordering things off of Amazon. Couldn't be me, sis.
Number 2, are you a fan of Transformers? I know it exists. I never really got into it as a kid.
My ex was a fan of Transformers. Probably not gonna, get into it myself because of that.
Number 3, what are your top 20 favorite movies? I don't know if I've seen and enjoyed enough movies to really make like a top 20, but I will name some of my favorite movies. Nightmare Before Christmas, Emperor's New Groove, Beetlejuice, Pulp Fiction, Chicago,
Pulp Fiction? Really?
Princess
Chicago is good.
Bride, Train Spotting,
Princess Bride.
South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, and Lilo and Stitch. Number 4, are you a Disney fan?
I mean, I just listed off 3 fucking Disney movies. I do still love the Disney movies that I am personally nostalgic for, but fuck Disney as a company.
They are, I guess, a little dickish when it comes to protecting their property or whatever. I heard something about how they have the extending copyright law with Mickey Mouse or whatever, which I guess that's all fine and dandy, but
Oh, honey, you haven't seen anything yet.
Most of their fucking properties are already pre-existing shit, like the fucking fairy tales that they made movies out of back in the day. Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, all that shit. So why do they get to keep the rights to these adaptations of pre-existing shit, but they won't let Mickey Mouse be in the public domain? I don't know, I'm probably gonna have to research this shit.
Cis people meeting trans people for the first time be like...
Robin asks, does YouTube poop pay the bills?
I hope it will.
One-Eyed Savvy, and a couple of his questions I kind of already answered, but he asks, who are some white theaters you enjoy? Chemistry Guy, Creepawigi, Absolute Billions, older stuff, Shroomhead 1, and Orpheus for the Win. He was that dude back in the day with the Scooby-Doo. Is he still doing stuff? I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into that. How'd you get the idea to have your dad pretend to be you behind this account?
Your accent is shite.
I borrowed my dad's YouTube account back in 2006 or whenever YouTube was brand spanking new, and I pretended to be him because YouTube said you had to be at least 13 to make an account. So I didn't want anybody to know that I was under 13, so I would pretend to be this older person, even though if you look at some of the comments I left on other people's videos during that time, it was very obvious that I was not 13 or 40 or however fucking old my dad was back then. But yeah, made a bunch of videos in Windows Movie Maker, and then I got a copyright strike for, I think it was a SpongeBob AMV.
SpongeBob and Gorillas. God, if SpongeBob ever comes out with any NFTs, I'm just gonna fucking astral project out of existence.
And I think I continued with the dad facade because I just figured it would be more noteworthy and cool to make it seem like, oh, this older person is behind these videos instead of this awkward, dweeby little kid. Uncle Facebender, or Fassbender, or whatever it is. How do you motivate yourself to work on projects, specifically larger ones? I don't know if that I've really come up with any particular ways to motivate myself. I guess just working on projects in chunks helps. You work on it for an hour or whatever, then you go do other shit, and then you come back to it later and work on it for another hour or whatever. Let's see if that works. The Savocado asks, how's college treating you? What's your major? Any extracurriculars? College is going alright for me so far. I haven't decided my major yet. I was going to go for a BLA with a focus in social sciences, but I might finish my GER requirements first. I don't know.
Back when I thought I actually had the fucking money and the patience to finish college. Although that was probably why I was floundering so much in college, is because I didn't and couldn't decide on a major, so...
Arthur Starbuck asks, where do you get your inspiration from? In particular, how do you decide on what music to use? Usually, I just use whatever song I think will work for the joke I'm working on. The CF Series 12 asks, if you were to watch one movie for the rest of your life, what would it be? Probably Nightmare Before Christmas.
How would I change that answer nowadays? You know what, actually, if I had to answer that question nowadays, I would go with Into the Spider-Verse.
The Holy Grail Productions asks, thoughts about content theft, i.e. Facebook or compilations. If the point of your site or your page or whatever is just to showcase other people's shit, then I think that's alright just as long as you give credit where it's due.
Which a lot of people fucking don't.
Is it if you just repost shit without any credit whatsoever, then that's kind of shitty. I will say, when it comes to content theft, one thing I hate is when people steal other people's YouTube groups. They re-upload them and they just change the title to make it look like it was their own creation. It happened with Absolute Billion's first Blue's Clues video, and then it happened with some of my Blue's Clues videos.
Yeah, that was specifically one of the reasons why I fell out of love with Mailbollocks Moves to Canada, other than the fact that I just don't think it's held up particularly well.
Things1 asks, do you deal with any degree of anxiety when it comes to your YouTube videos? If you ever feel stressed about work, school, life, or fun balance, do your content and audience ever factor into that stress? I think back in the day when I used to upload videos, like back in like middle school and shit, I used to have more anxiety about whether or not people would like the video. It was always basically a gamble for me, like, I don't know, this joke is kind of stupid, but I'll put it in there just to see if maybe someone will laugh at it anyway.
I don't remember when exactly I stopped having that mindset of, this joke doesn't necessarily make me laugh, but it might make someone else laugh. But I think it was definitely for the better that I stopped making jokes like that, because that's usually led to, some of my cringier moments. And if I throw a joke into a video that I know is funny, or at least I know makes me laugh, then there's probably a good chance it will also make someone else laugh. Doesn't always happen, but,
The last time I really remember feeling anxiety, sort of, about my balance between school and life and my YouTube videos was, I guess, Blues Black Blush, because I was just kind of letting that sit on the back burner for a while, and I kept coming back to it like, oh shit, yeah, that exists. Not so much that I had to get the video out to the people, like...
At this point in time, exactly.
At this time of year, at this time of day!
Bell Sparko asks, are there any other YTP fads like Strike Up the Band that you would like to see make a comeback? Well, they're all music related, which I wasn't doing on purpose, but I guess those were just the funnest YTP fads back in the day. The Yoshi's Island ones, where people would have people just like rhythmically saying shit to, I think it was the map music from Yoshi's Island, and the mini YTP MVs of Witchcraft by Pendulum. Also more Pingus YTP MVs, where they have the sound clip in like the FL Studio piano roll or some shit, because the sound clip obviously sounds like it's getting faster and slower with the higher and lower notes. And if we're still doing Lazy Town memes, then...
Oh, just you wait, honey.
Stand to see some more You Are a Pirate edits. Full Metal Windbreaker asks, what media other than YouTube do you consume? Are you a TV guy or a film buff, or dare I say, a gamer?
None of the above. God, I have such a weird face.
TV and movies are good, but music is probably the media that I'm most into consuming right now. I have not played a video game since I was in, I think, middle school, but I do want to try and get back into it. I'm Sub121 asks, any tips for an aspiring pooper?
I don't remember why the audio quality in this one is so much worse. I'm pretty sure I was filming with my built-in laptop webcam before it completely shit the bed. I don't know if I was using my laptop mic. More importantly, I noticed that my voice was also a little deeper in this Q&A. I mean, obviously I had aged up a bit since the last one, but since I was filming in the hallway, I wonder if I was trying to keep my voice relatively low, or if I was just trying to sound more masculine.
I would say try not to get into making videos with the anticipation of being popular. People will find you in due time. Just work on making your videos work on learning techniques and stuff in Vegas or whatever video editor you're using, and developing your style. I might have said this in the last Q&A, but it still applies.
Tor asks, do you enjoy life?
More than I did earlier this year, yes. Life's too fucking short to be salty all the time, so.
Yeah, that's really easy for you to say when you think you're a a bisexual white guy, but, I mean,
Pika Ska asks, how can you be 19 and making some of the greatest YTPs ever? Well, I've been using the computer since I was, 3 or 4 or 5, and using Sony Vegas since I was 10, so... Yeah. Dookie51 asks, what's your opinion on Silva Gunner and his high-quality video game rips? I assume you're talking about the silly remixes and meme shit he does with, where he, replaces the melody of a song. It's certainly interesting. I didn't expect it to come from him, of all people, but, he just keep...
Why do you say that, past Izzy?
Uploading straight video game music for however long he's been on YouTube. I guess you gotta spice it up somehow. Dark Rye asks, number 1, which TV show, series, or video do you like to tweet the most? Isn't it obvious? No, yeah, I did also like to use D-Sigs all the time for a while, and then I just kind of grew out of watching his videos in general. But number 2, what's your opinion on Pokemon? Do you like it or not? Again, it's one of those things that I knew exists, but never really... Actually, I did interact with Pokemon a little. My friend at one point had Pokemon Yellow on a Game Boy Color, and I tried to play it, and then at one point I just got frustrated and gave up. I also had a stuffed Pikachu toy that would like shake around and say his phrases whenever you like squeeze his paw. And then I had an I Choose You Pikachu DVD, and then I just kind of grew out of it, and that was all the interaction I had with Pokemon as a kid. Number 3, how about a Pokemon poop? LOL. If I can come up with enough jokes for a solid foundation, then maybe.
If I can find that fucking DVD again.
Minecraft TV asks,
What was your favorite Blue's Clues YTP so far? This answer is probably going to change at some point, but right now, Steve's full frontal lobotomy. That's probably the most, like, consistently, like, there's nothing in it that's too overly inappropriate or alienating, you know, which I guess you could say the older ones were better because they went all out with how fucking crazy they were. Steve's full frontal lobotomy I could probably, like, show to my friends who don't know anything about YTP or my channel to, like, ease them into the crazier stuff, you know?
I will say that one has, like, a volume spike that's, like, a little too loud, and I've had that problem for a while as well. I'm kind of, looking to lessen that in my latest content, I guess.
Whereas with pretty much every Blue's Clues poop I've made before that one, like, I guess except for fucking Clues Man, there was always, like, at least 1 or 2 parts where I look back on it and I'm kind of like,
yeah, because you were a fucking edgelord.
maybe later down the line it'll be you fucking Blues Black Blukes, but that's my favorite for right now. Colton the Goat asks, will you make a tutorial on how you make your YTPs? I did make a video a while back where I did a tutorial on doing my data mush and vibrato audio effects, but as far as my process goes, sometimes I will watch a source and then come up with a joke already in my head and then try to execute it in Vegas and just go from there, or sometimes I'll like put the source into Vegas and like come up with the jokes as I watch it. You can try one of those options to see which one works best for you.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you over the sound of one of my cringiest musical phases ever.
Your process is still probably going to be very different from mine, which it should be. I mean, you can take influence from other people and whatnot, but you don't necessarily have to go in with the mindset of, I want to make things exactly like how this person makes things. Real Poltergoose asks, were you expecting that your poofs would become popular? No. There's certainly parts of my fame that have been better and worse than others, I suppose, but and I don't know if I've made this clear, it might sound kind of corny, but I do really appreciate you guys. I mean, just the fact that thousands of people love my shit enough to want to watch it on a regular basis or whatever is kind of scary, but also really cool at the same time. So thanks, I guess, for making me feel somewhat important. And that is all the questions I have for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time I decide to open up Sony Vegas. Bye.
That one was definitely a little less cursed. The audio and video quality was still pretty rough around the edges, especially the audio quality, but I feel like that one was actually a little easier for me to watch than the first one. It is interesting how so many aspects of my life that I remember are about the same, even though my sense of self as a person has changed greatly over a few years. Like, I still have my memories that are, you know, very specific to me and my childhood and my adolescence, but at the risk of sounding a little corny, it does kind of feel like watching a different person in these older videos. I think Jessie Gender put it best in her pre-HRT comparison video when she said,
but there's a certain core of who I am today that I was actually kind of shocked was still found in that 12-year-old who was a closeted trans person, didn't know how to express herself as a trans person, was still figuring herself out. And so, despite that, I still am kind of the same person in a lot of ways. And I've just become more of me.
I felt that. What did you think of these videos? Did you laugh? Did you cringe? Did you cry? Thank you guys for watching and supporting me for all these years. Especially thank you to the people who have still stuck around with me after I came out on YouTube. It means so much to me. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.